Alright everyone, it's time for an extra video today which is on the Supreme Court's decision regarding the ACA actually. It was being challenged by the state of Texas on the idea that initially when the Supreme Court, years and years ago, ruled it constitutional, they said, well, John Roberts specifically in the 5-4 split decision, liberals versus conservatives, of course he's a Bush appointee, therefore a liberal, said, well, it's perfectly legal. It's a tax because we have this ACA mandate which says that if you don't have health insurance, you have to pay a 2.5% extra tax. That makes it magically legal. Otherwise, it wouldn't be. Basically, if you're taxing the poor, if you're taxing people that can't afford health insurance because of a lack of interstate competition, that makes the ACA better somehow, according to John Roberts and the Bushites. The logic is definitely lacking, but, they made their decision. The state of Texas said, but the ACA mandate's gone. Donald Trump canned that. In the absence of the actual mandate, we have standing to challenge the law as a whole because the only reason it was ruled to be constitutional is specifically because of that particular mandate that has gone the way of the dinosaur. In a 7-2 decision, unfortunately I would say, although I'll get into why this isn't the end-all be-all or anything like that, with Alito and Gorsuch actually dissenting, it was a 7-2, so a split decision but lopsided, they've decided to uphold the ACA mandate. However, it wasn't because of the constitutionality of the ACA mandate with or without the actual tax. It has nothing to do with that. It was on a technicality, which is that they said, well, the state of Texas can't be a plaintiff because they haven't proven to us that they were actually aggrieved. This is really great news. I love seeing Chuck Schumer take a victory lap and saying, well, the ACA is here to stay. That may not happen. You see, the problem is that because this was on that technicality, the Supreme Court's not weighing in on whether the ACA is even lawful. All they're saying is that the person challenging the lawful nature of the actual ACA can't challenge it. And the Supreme Court has done this before. They've done this with various like gun control and things like that, and lower courts do this too. You have to have a plaintiff that is legally entitled to actually bring the case before the court. If you don't have the proper plaintiff, you can't bring the case. The court will say, it doesn't matter whether X, Y, and Z are legal. It doesn't matter if what was done was right or wrong. All that matters is that you can or cannot actually bring the case before us in the first place. Is this a punt? Yeah, this is a huge punt by the Supreme Court, and I'll tell you exactly why this is. The Supreme Court's looking at a situation where it has technically three choices. It can decide to do what it did, which is not take the case at all. In which case, people with the ACA covering their health insurance, whether it's good or bad, some of them are taxed, whatever, they maintain their health insurance. It stays intact. Or they can make a decision. Here are the two decisions they can make. They side with the ACA, and the conservative justices would definitely be hesitant to do this. They side with the ACA, and they enshrine it, and they determine that it's constitutional even despite their prior decision that the only reason technically that it was constitutional was because of the mandate that no longer exists. In other words, they would be effectively nullifying their former decision. John Roberts would be nullifying his own prior argument. That's a problem. Or they can find against the ACA mandate. They can throw the ACA. They can throw it out, saying, well, no, Obamacare, yeah, the mandate's gone. Obamacare is no longer constitutional. What happens? The problem is that several tens of millions of people lose their health insurance, not because they can't get health insurance back, but because you've completely overhauled the system in favor of this mixed economy style system, and you've provided various subsidies and regulations and stuff. The problem is it's going to take years for everything to reform. You'd be doing that at the end of a pandemic, in a period where you've got inflation, you've got high unemployment, and you've got a million other social issues. The Supreme Court of the United States is not technically supposed to take a barometer, a measurement of public sentiment, or social alienation, or even economic pragmatism. The only reason that they exist is to determine whether a law or whatever is or is not constitutional, does or does not conform to the Constitution and its multiple amendments. That's the only purpose, technically. Do they care about public opinion? Yes. They're not supposed to, but they do. Do they care about the pragmatic fallout of their decisions? Yes. They're not supposed to, but they do. This is both very good and very bad. I've given the eternal example of gay marriage. The Supreme Court should have ruled it the law of the land long, long before it was. But they very wisely, again, not supposed to, but wisely stood back and said, if we do it now, 5, 6 years before it was the de facto law of the land in 2/3 of the states, if they had done that at the time, despite the fact that it would have saved a lot of people a lot of goddamn griping and a lot of problems, it would have looked like judicial activism, and in the long run, it actually would have dumbed down the movement for equality that was being waged. It also would have set up all sorts of secondary legal decision makings and court cases and people suing each other and a lot of animosity that didn't need to happen. And also at the time, public sentiment wasn't for it. So they waited until it was. They took a step back and they gauged public opinion. They looked at basic charts showing its direction. They said, okay, we'll wait 5 years. That's essentially what they did. On this, it remains to be seen whether the ACA in the end will truly be struck down. The mandate's gone. Well, I don't know, Biden might restore it or something. Technically speaking, yes, that makes it unlawful. Under John Roberts' own initial decision. But you have to have a proper plaintiff. And I have a feeling that the Supreme Court will just punt, just like they did now. They'll punt again in the future, regardless of who the plaintiff is, because they want other people to take care of it and they have other things that they want to do. Is this potentially a bad thing? Yes. Is it virtuous? Maybe so. The Supreme Court is known to basically play by its own bizarre and sometimes arbitrary set of rules. Razorfist has a million opinions about this subject. They should probably be reined in more in some cases. For instance, their reluctance to take cases. There should be some sort of measure by which if people really truly demand it, like 70% of the population really just wants closure on something, that they can have it. Otherwise, generally speaking, their independence can be a good thing, by and large. Do I support this decision? No. If I were on the Supreme Court, of course, I would ignore the fact that Texas wasn't technically a proper plaintiff, and I would find that the ACA is unconstitutional. I'd find that because it's quite clear. It quite clearly is. Again, under the auspices of the initial decision, the ACA mandate was the reason Obamacare was found constitutional. The ACA mandate went bye-bye, ergo, the obvious. But unfortunately, we don't have that. In another decision, they decided that Catholic, foster service could continue to discriminate against couples that they don't consider to be lawfully married. That was a 9-0 decision. It's funny that that's unanimous, but this is 7-2. There are other decisions, I'm sure they'll be all over the place. They basically, again, they make their own rules. That's about all. Peace out.